Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Guru Bhakta Vrinda. Asya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutaris Sriyam Rupa Kadamaham Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Gita Padakamanam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagarajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sadhanitam Parichara Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishnu He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpati Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastite Tapta Kanchana Gaurandi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishnavani Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhavya Patitanam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavabhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Rama, Hare. Namo Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Krishna Vitali Prabhupada Hikmaya Shri Gurujaya Swami Sivakthara Dara Spihari Dhammuti Vyachatma Dharani. Padaya Krishna Krishna Vitali Shnati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Nami Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pachata Deshatayani. Mukham Karoti Vachalam Tanghum Gayate Girim Vitkripatamham Vande Shri Guru Dinataranam De Krishna. So we are reading from Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila, chapter 8. The author says the orders of Krishna and Guru. So let's read text 19. Rajan Patir Guru Alam Bhavantam Yadunam Revam Priya Kulapati Kwacha Kinkaruvaha Astevamanga Bhagavan Vajatam Mukundu Muktim Dadati Karvichit Smana Bhakti Yogam. The great sage Narada said, my dear King Maharaj Yudhishthir, the Supreme Person of Godhead Krishna is always ready to help you. He is your master, guru, God, very dear friend and head of your family. Yet sometimes he agrees to act as your servant or order carrier. You are greatly fortunate because this relationship is possible only by Bhakti Yoga. The Lord can give liberation, mukti very easily, but he doesn't very easily give one Bhakti Yoga, because by that process he is bound to the devotee. Purport. This passage is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 5.6.18. While Shukadeva Goswami was describing the character of Rishabdev, he distinguished between Bhakti Yoga and liberation by reciting this verse. In relationship with the Yadus and Pandavas, the Lord acted sometimes as their master, sometimes as their advisor, sometimes as their friend, sometimes the head of their family, and sometimes even as their servant. Krishna once had to carry out an order of Yudhishthir's by carrying a letter Yudhishthir had written to Duryodhana regarding peace negotiations. Similarly, he also became the chariot driver of Arjuna. This illustrates that in Bhakti Yoga, there is a relationship established between the Supreme Person Godhead and the divinity. Such a relationship is established in the transcendental mellows known as Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya. If a devotee wants simple liberation, he gets it very easily from the Supreme Person Godhead, as confirmed by Bilva Mangala Thakur, Mukti Swayam Mukulitanjali Sevate Sman. For a devotee, Mukti is not very important because Mukti is always standing on his doorstep, waiting to serve him in some way. A devotee, therefore, must be attracted by the behavior of the inhabitants of Vrindavan, who live in a relationship with Krishna. The land, water, cows, trees, and flowers serve Krishna in Shanta Ras. His servants serve him in Dasya Ras, and his cowherd friends serve him in Sakhya Ras. Similarly, the elder gopis and gopas serve Krishna's father and mother, uncle and other relatives, and the young gopis, the cowherd girls, serve Krishna in conjugal love. While executing devotional service, one must be naturally inclined to serve Krishna in one of these transcendental relationships. That is the actual success of life. For a devotee to get liberation is not very difficult. Even one who is unable to establish a relationship with Krishna can achieve liberation by merging into the Brahman effulgence. This is called Sayuja Mukti. Vaishnavas never accept Sayuja Mukti, although sometimes they accept the other forms of liberation, namely Sarupya, Salokya, Samipya, and Sarshti. A pure devotee, however, doesn't accept any kind of mukti. He wants only to serve Krishna in a transcendental relationship. This is the perfectional stage of spiritual life. Mayavadi philosophers desire to merge into the existence of the Brahman effulgence. Although this aspect is this is the perfectional stage of spiritual life. Mayavadi philosophers desire to merge into the existence of the Brahman effulgence. Although this aspect of liberation is always neglected by devotees. Srila Prabodhananda Saraswati Thakur, describing this kind of mukti, which is called Kaivalya, or becoming one with the Supreme, has said, Kaivalyam Narakayate. Becoming one with the Supreme is as good as going to heaven. Therefore, the ideal of Mayavad philosophy, becoming one with the Supreme, is hellish for a devotee. He never accepts it. Mayavadi philosophers do not know that even if they merge into the effulgence of the Supreme, this will not give them ultimate rest. An individual soul cannot live in the Brahman effulgence in a state of inactivity. After some time, he must desire to be active. However, since he is not aware of his relationship with the Supreme Personal Godhead, and therefore has no spiritual activity, he must come down for further activities in this material world. This is confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam 10.232. Arudhya Krishnena param padam tataha patantyadho nadhrita yashman angrayaha. Because Mayavadi philosophers have no information regarding the transcendental service of the Lord. Even after attaining liberation from material activities and merging into the Brahman effulgence, they must come down again to this material world to open hospitals or schools or perform similar philanthropic activities. So this is, what's the theme here?
Relationship. We have to have a relationship with Krishna.
Relationship, yeah. I was just listening to one, Sachin Maharaj, he has his retreats. And so in one of his classes, he was speaking about this relationship. So he was saying that just think for a moment, what relationship would think about your relationship with Krishna. There is no, like he said, that if you go on reading, you just go on reading philosophy without connecting with Krishna and developing a relationship with Krishna, at some point we'll stop reading. He said, like, you have to connect. It's like you're, calling somebody and he's not picking up his phone. So what happened after some time? You just put it down, right? So like that. So if we go on reading, and but we are not connecting with Krishna. And it's such a beautiful verse. So, my dear Maharaj Yudhishthir, the Supreme Person, Godhead Krishna, is always ready to help you. He's your master, guru, God, very dear friend, and head of your family. You know, like, maybe I told you I've been reading this Mahabharata. You can see how Krishna actively gets involved in the life of Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, right? Everybody knows this.
Mm.
Said he will not take arms. What will he do? Battle of Kurukshetra. What will he do?
Can you can you repeat the question?
Krishna
There
said,
was
Krishna said he will not take arms on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So what did he do?
he was a charioteer.
Yeah, he became the charioteer, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't know what it is to be a charioteer until I read Mahabharata.
Mm.
You remember something that Krishna did? Anybody remembers the Mahabharata? As a charioteer, what did he do?
He used to clean, he used to वो घोड़े को भी साफ करते थे, खाना पीना देते थे, अर्जुन के पैर भी दबाते थे.
Yeah, I want on the battlefield. Not
गाइड करते थे.
No, he took the chariot of Arjun in the middle of the two armies.
So,
When Arjun asked him to do it, then
well, he was driving Arjuna's chariot in such a way that nobody could catch him.
on the battlefield,
Yeah, he was sliding, okay? He was sliding through the army, all right?
but
So,
he's God, no?
so dexterous.
No.
Yeah, so dexterous in guiding. Can you imagine? It's death, right? It's death. Battlefield means death. So he's driving in such a way that the enemy cannot aim him. So this is the relationship. I'm speaking of the relationship between Arjuna and Krishna. And then when I just take Ashwatthama, I think maybe in one of the classes spoke about Ashwatthama, right? Ashwatthama sent in an astra. Forgot which astra. He sent an
Brahmastra. Yeah.
He sent an astra that cannot be avoided. So what did Krishna do? Everybody lie flat. He didn't take arms, all right? He made everybody lie flat. Right? So that astra from Ashwatthama flew off the heads of all the Pandavas, entire army flew off their heads, and then it got dissipated. Yeah, it got dissipated. Right. Then Karna, now see, Ashwatthama was like shocked, absolutely shocked, because that astra was not an ordinary astra. It belonged to the Brahmanas, because he's a Brahmana, right? Ashwatthama is a Brahmana. So he has higher weapons. And why Drona was killed? Because he was using the weapons of the devas against ordinary human beings. So the devas, they protested, this is unfair, this is unfair. You cannot use, because he's a Brahmana. He's not a Kshatriya, he's a Brahmana. And he was using astra that is higher than an ordinary human being. So therefore, he was killed. Now, so Ashwatthama was doing the same thing. So his effort was foiled, completely foiled. Now, Karna became extremely powerful. Many times Karna lost battles and ran away from the Pandavas. So now Karna aimed at Arjuna's neck. Now he wanted to cut off his head. He aimed at his neck. Anybody knows what Krishna did?
He put the chariot down. So
What did he do?
he put the chariot down. So then the arrow went ahead.
Well, he really, Krishna is a, how do you call that, a master, right? Very skillful. So he wants to, see, this is very much applicable in our lives. So what happened is he made the chariot, so he just pushed the horses. So the horses sat down. And wheel and the chariot also got into the earth. And just by this much, all right? So Karna's arrow went against the helmet and knocked off the helmet of Arjuna. Just to make a point, right? Just to make a point. That this is narrow escape, you call it, isn't it? A narrow escape. So this is how, when we are in relationship with Krishna, this is what Krishna does for his friend.
Mataji, one question, but Krishna, he said he will not battle, right? But yet he was a part of everything he designed. Other thing is that he kept his devotees always on the toes, right? They were always in anxiety, although Krishna was protecting them.
Yeah, he didn't take arms. Krishna did, see, Krishna is not going to fight your battle. The point is this.
No,
He's
but
not-
why does he put devotees in anxiety? That is my question.
Sorry?
Why does he put devotees in anxiety?
No, he's not putting the devotees in anxiety. We take birth here, so naturally this is a word of dukkha. So automatically there is anxiety. He doesn't put us in anxiety. But what to do? He has to save us from all these. Right? By ourselves, we come in here, and then he has to rack his brain, right? How to make us escape all that calamities that we create for ourselves. Oh my God, what was that? Yeah, many times you read in Mahabharata, like Yudhishthir said something, and Krishna was saying that, why did you say this? Now everything is lost. And impetuous, like devotees, you can see how this human nature and human frailties, so much is exhibited by the Pandavas. But Krishna will protect. Krishna protects us from our own mistakes. Like Arjuna said, whoever said, put down your Gandhi bow, I will kill him. Right? And Yudhishthir was so angry you didn't kill Karna. What's the use of your bow? And Krishna said, this is just childish. So he had to figure out, how to unravel the whole mess between the two brothers. Because Arjuna said, now I'll kill him. Right? And Krishna has to think, okay, you have to kill him. How will you kill him? So, okay, you swear at him. Right? Elder brother, Arjuna, younger, he's swearing at Yudhishthir. And then he says, what did I do this? I should kill myself now. So then Krishna said, okay, how to kill yourself? Praise yourself. if you praise yourself, this is as good as killing yourself, glorifying yourself, right? So much Krishna's teaching. And so we put ourselves in so much trouble. So this is relationship, right? If we surrender, Krishna manifests himself in ways that we never imagined. Sometimes we believe that we are the doers, we are manipulating, everything. But surrender to Krishna. Okay, so this is such a nice passage about developing a relationship with Krishna. And we already have a fixed relationship with Krishna. Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya, conjugal, right? Madhurya, Shanta. But there is no relationship in impersonalism. Impersonalism, there's no relationship. So if we find that we are not having a relationship with Krishna right now, it means we are in the stage of
Personal. Impersonal.
we're in the stage of impersonalism. Right. So therefore it's good, like Sachin Maharaj, he was really pushing. He said, you need to find your relationship with Krishna. Then he becomes real. Then he will jump out of the pages of Bhagavatam. Otherwise, it will just be reading books. That's why people don't read books, because they think there's nothing in it. Right? Why we don't read Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, right? Because we think it's not interesting because we're not feeling any relationship with Krishna. Right, text 20. Prema Shri Chaitanya Lila Yatha Tatha Jagai Madhai Paryanta Anyera Katha. All right, Anupama Madhavi, you want to read?
Krishna Janmat Pranam. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has freely given this love of Krishna everywhere and anywhere, even to the most fallen, such as Jagai and Madhai. What then to speak of those who are already pious and elevated? The distinction between Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's gift to human society and the gifts of others is that whereas so-called philanthropic and humanitarian workers have given some relief to human society as far as the body is concerned, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu offers the best facilities for going back home, back to Godhead, with love of Godhead. If one seriously makes a comparative study of the two gifts, certainly if he is at all sober, he will give the greatest credit to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It was with this purpose that Kaviraj Goswami said, Shri Krishna Tanya Daya Karaha Vichar Karile Chitte Pabe Chamatkar. If you are indeed interested in logic and argument, kindly apply it to the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. If you do so, you will find it to be strikingly wonderful. CC Adi Leela 8.15. Sri Narottam Das Thakur says, Dina Hina Yata Chila Hari Naam Udharila Tara Sakshi Jagai Madhai. The two brothers, Jagai and Madhai, epitomize sinful populace in this age of. They were most disturbing elements in society because they were meat eaters, drunkards, woman hunters, rogues, and thieves. Yet Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu delivered them, to say nothing of others who were sober, pious, devoted, and conscientious. The Bhagavad Gita confirms that, to say nothing of the Brahmanically qualified devotees and Rajarishis, Kim Punar Brahmana Punya Bhakta Rajashreyas Tatha. Anyone who by the association of a pure devotee comes to Krishna consciousness becomes eligible back home, back to Godhead. In the Bhagavad Gita 9.32, the Lord thus declares, Mami Partha Vyapashritya ये स्यु पाप योनयः श्रियो वैश्य तथा शूद्रस्ते अपि यान्ति सरस्वति. O son of Pritha, those who take shelter in me, though they be of lower birth, even Vaishyas, merchants and Shudras workers, can attain the supreme destination. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu delivered the two fallen brothers Jagai and Madhai, but the entire world is presently full of Jagais and Madhais, or in other words, women hunters, meat eaters, gamblers, thieves, and other rogues, who create all kinds of disturbances in society. The activities of such persons have now become common practices. It is no longer considered abominable to be a drunkard, hunter, meat eater, thief, or rogue, for these elements have been assimilated by human society. That does not mean, however, that the abominable qualities of such persons will help free human society from the clutches of Maya. Rather, they will entangle humanity more and more in the actions of the stupid laws of it. One's activities are all performed under the influence of the modes of material nature. Prakriti kriyamanani gune karmani sarvasham. Because people are now associating with the modes of ignorance, tamogun, and to some extent passion, rajogun, and with no trace of goodness, satogun, they are becoming increasingly greedy and lusty. For that is the effect of associating with these modes. Tada rajas tamo bhava kama labdhayas chaye. By associating with the two lower qualities of material nature, one becomes lusty and greedy. Bhagavatam 1.2.19. Actually, in modern human society, everyone is greedy and lusty. And therefore, the only means for deliverance is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan movement, which can promote all the Jagais and Madhais to the topmost position of Sattvagun or Brahminical culture. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.18 and 19 states, Nashtaprayeshu bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati तदारजस्तमो भाव कामलोभादयश्च ये चेत् एतैरनाविद्धं स्थितं सत्त्वे प्रसिद्धति. Considering the chaotic condition of human society, if one actually wants peace and tranquility, one must take to Krishna consciousness movement and engage always in Bhagavad Dharma. Engagement in Bhagavad Dharma dissipates all ignorance and passion, and when ignorance and passion are dissipated, one is freed from greed and lust. When freed from greed and lust, one becomes Brahmanically qualified. And when a Brahmanically qualified person makes further advancement, he becomes situated on the Vaishnava platform. It is only on this Vaishnava platform that it is possible to awaken one's dormant love of Godhead. And as soon as one does so, his life is successful. At present, human society is specifically cultivating the mode of ignorance, tamogun, although there may also be some symptoms of passion, rajogun, full of calm and lobha, lust and greed. The entire population of the world consists mostly of Shudras and a few Vaishyas. And gradually it's coming about that there are Shudras only. Communism is the movement of Shudras and capitalism is the mean meant for Vaishyas. In the fighting between these two factions, the Shudras and Vaishyas, gradually, due to the abominable condition of society, the communists will emerge triumphant, and as soon as this takes place, whatever is left of society will be ruined. The only possible remedy that can counteract the tendency towards communism is the Krishna consciousness movement, which can give even communists the real idea of communist society. According to the doctrine of communism, the state should be the proprietor of everything. But the Krishna consciousness movement, expanding the same idea, accepts God as the proprietor of everything. People cannot understand this because they have no sense of God. But the Krishna consciousness movement can help them to understand God and to understand that everything belongs to God. Since everything is the property of God and all living entities, not only human beings, but even animals, birds, plants, and so on, are the children of God. Everyone has the right to live at the cost of God with God consciousness. This is the sum and substance of the Krishna consciousness movement. Hare Krishna.
So this, what we are finding here, that is Kali Yuga, it's extremely difficult to practice Krishna consciousness because everybody is following in the footsteps of Jagai and Madhai. Right? types of sinful activities. Practically every home, you find elements of Jaga and Mada. So how can people progress? But Prabhupada is saying that the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is extraordinary. That by his mercy, even people who are like Jagai and Madhai, they can become elevated. Then Prabhupada is speaking about the danger of this Kali Yuga. The danger of Kali Yuga is that everybody is becoming Shudras. So Prabhupada is saying in Kali Yuga only Shudras are there and Vaishyas are there, right? So this is very much prominent. The entire world is under economic development. And for economic development, they capture the entire population, they make you work. So you become a worker. All right? You are a worker. Everybody becomes workers. Worker means you're Shudra. Right? And then if you who are making you work, they are the Vaishyas. So Prabhupada is saying gradually this whole world will become, so Prabhupada is saying the communists will emerge triumphant. Gradually, due to the abominable condition of society, the communists will emerge triumphant. And as soon as this takes place, whatever is left of society will be ruined. If everybody is become Shudra, then what do? Then the only thing you will think is how can you enjoy this material world? The tendencies of Shudras is towards meat eating, intoxication, gambling, and illicit sex. They have that tendency. So they fall down more and more. So Prabhupada is saying that the only hope, the only remedy is Krishna consciousness. So if we think that everybody should enjoy equally, communism means that everybody should enjoy equally. And it's not that somebody has more than the other. Why is it that everybody is competing? Why everybody is, the whole educational system is, I should be able to earn and compete with somebody else. Why? Because they think that the world belongs to them. And that everybody should have equal chance. And they have no idea that actually there is destiny. There is destiny. And due to destiny, even though two people are working 10 hours, one is successful and the other one is not successful. Or maybe one is working 2 hours and he's successful and the person who is working 10 hours is not successful. All right. So all these combination and permutation of karma, they can't figure out. So what do? It's only a mad race of competition and we're number one. And therefore, quarrel. You know, the most amazing, the most abominable thing that you can witness. Maybe they don't find it like that. When somebody goes to somebody else's country and captures that country and make that country become their slave. Like, how can anybody dare do this? Yes, go, grab, capture a country, overpower that country and make that country become their slave. Right? This is what the whole war is all about. You know, you're living very peacefully, nicely, you make a complete empire, and suddenly behind you, your neighbor comes and, you know, chasing after you to capture your land. Right? So this is Kali Yuga. Greed, Kam and Lobha, lust and greed. Kam and Lobha, lust and greed, the entire population of the world consists mostly of Shudras and a few Vaishyas. And gradually it is coming that there are Shudras only. Text 21. So Prabhupada has given a lot in this. What is the gist of this text in Prabhupada's purport? What is being discussed here?
That it is Kali Yuga, Mataji, and everyone is very fallen. And only Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan movement can deliver. Because there is lust and greed, and there is all these four principles are broken everywhere. And
Yeah.
Mahaprabhu is so merciful that he will deliver. If he delivered Jagai Madai, he will deliver all these people.
It's 21. Swatantra Ishvara Prema Nibudha Bhutida Vilayla Yar Hetarena Kaila Vichar. Okay, Indira Radha, you want to read?
Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, is fully independent. Therefore, although it is the most confidentially stored benediction, he can distribute love of Godhead to anyone and everyone without consideration, purport. This is the benefit of Lord Chaitanya's movement. If one somehow or the other comes in contact with the Hare Krishna movement without consideration of his being a Shudra, Vaishya, Jagai, Madai, or even lower, he becomes advanced in spiritual consciousness and immediately develops love of Godhead. We now have an actual experience that throughout the entire world, this movement is making many such persons lovers of God simply by the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Actually, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has appeared as the spiritual master of the entire world. He does not discriminate between offenders and the innocent. Krishna Prema Padaya Te. He deliberately gives love of Godhead to anyone and everyone. This can be actually experienced as stated in the next verse.
Right. So Mahaprabhu, he is just giving a chance to everybody, even though we may be so fallen. So he's just giving the chance to everybody. How he's giving the chance to everybody? What does he do?
He gives love. He gives the Mahamantra to everyone.
Yes.
Love of God.
He gives the Maha Mantra to everybody.
Everyone.
He doesn't
Even though we are not qualified to chant the Mahamantra, he still gives it to us.
Yes. So like Gayatri Mantra, like there's so many conditions, right? Unless this, then you can get Gayatri Mantra. But this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, openly he's giving to everyone without discrimination. So Prabhupada is saying he's actually the spiritual master of the entire world. Spiritual master gives the mantra, right?
Initiated.
So, yeah, he initiates. Text 22. Adyapiha dekha chaitanya namaye laya Krishna preme pulakashru vihivala say hi. Whether he's offensive or inoffensive, anyone who even now chants Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda is immediately overwhelmed with ecstasy, and tears fill his eyes. Yeah, who wants to read? Rashmi, you want to read this purport?
Yes, Mataji, Hare Krishna. Whether he is offensive or inoffensive, anyone who even now chants Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, is immediately overwhelmed with ecstasy and tears fill his eyes. The Prakrita Sahijyas who chant Nitai Gaur Radhe Sham have very little knowledge of the Bhagavad conclusion, and they hardly follow the Vaishnava rules and regulations. And yet, because they chant Bhajanitai Gaur, their chanting immediately invokes tears and other signs of ecstasy. Although they do not know the principles of Vaishnava philosophy and are advanced in education, by these symptoms they attract many men to become their followers. Their ecstatic tears will, of course, help them in the long run, for as soon as they come in contact with a pure devotee, their lives will become successful. Even in the beginning, however, because they are chanting the holy names of Nitai Gaur, their swift advancement on the path of love of Godhead is very prominently visible.
Text 23. Nityananda Balite Hai Krishna Premadai Olaya Sakalanga Shri Ganga Vai. Simply by talking of Nityananda Prabhu, one awakens his love for Krishna. Thus all his bodily limbs are agitated by ecstasy, and tears flow from his eyes like the waters of the Ganges. 24. Krishna Nam Kare Aparadhera Vichar Krishna Balile Aparadhera Nahai Vikar. Yeah, Anupama Mishra, you want to read?
Mataji, I had a question on the 22nd verse, Mataji. Can I ask?
Yes.
Mataji
Yes.
says whether he's offensive or inoffensive. In fact, in another book I read that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he doesn't take any offenses. So can you, and while as Krishna, Radha Krishna, they take offenses. So can you elaborate on that?
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came as a spiritual master, right? He came as a spiritual master. So he's just, giving us some opening. Just giving us some opening. Otherwise, we're finished. Right? If like a little bit, say something has to be visible, some sincerity, something, right? Like Jagai, the story of Jagai and Madhai. When one of them was attacking Nityananda, the other said, no, he's a sadhu, right? So as soon as Mahaprabhu heard this, immediately he gave him chance. And the other one said, but we are always together. Whatever sin we commit is all together. Why you're merciful to this one and not to me? Right? Just that Nityananda Prabhu was appreciated by Rome. Mahaprabhu became merciful.
So we have to take to the lotus feet of
Yes.
Nityananda Prabhu.
Yes, yeah, and we ourselves have to be so open and generous because everybody is so thick with their anarthas. All of us, we're so thick with our anarthas, and we can't just discard people. Ordinarily, once you see the fault of somebody, you just want to cut off relationship, isn't it? But when somebody is trying to be a devotee but exhibiting all the anarthas, so we have the same mood as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Prabhupada said there is no limit to the mercy of Nityananda. So there's even little flickering, pass mark you have to give and pull the person to higher and higher. Okay, who's reading?
There are offenses to be considered while chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. Therefore, simply by chanting Hare Krishna, one does not become ecstatic. Purport: it is very beneficial to chant the names of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda before chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, because by chanting these two holy names, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, one immediately becomes ecstatic And if he then chants the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, he becomes free of offenses. There are 10 offenses to avoid in chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. The first offense is to blaspheme great personalities who are engaged in distributing the holy name of the Lord. It is said in the Shastra, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Antya 7.11, Krishna Shakti Vina Nahi Tara Pravartana. One cannot distribute the holy names of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra unless he is empowered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, one should not criticize or blaspheme a devotee who is thus engaged. Sri Padma Puran states, Satam Ninda Namna Paramam aparadhamam vittanute yata kyatimam yatamam katham yu sahate tad vigraham. To blaspheme the great saintly persons who are engaged in preaching the glories of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is the worst offense at the lotus feet of the holy name. One should not criticize a preacher of the glories of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. If one does so, he is an offender. The Nama Prabhu, who is identical with Krishna, will never tolerate such blasphemous activities, even from one who passes as a great devotee. The second Namaparad is described as follows. Shivasya Shri Vishnur Ya Iha Guna Namadi Sakalam Dhiya Bhinnam Pashyet Sakhalu Hari Namahita Karah. In this material world, the holy name of Vishnu is all auspicious. Vishnu's name, form, qualities, and pastimes are all transcendental, absolute knowledge. Therefore, if one tries to separate the absolute personality of Godhead from his holy name or his transcendental form, qualities, and pastimes, thinking them to be material, that is offensive. Similarly, to think that the names of demigods, such as Lord Shiva, are as good as the name of Lord Vishnu, or in other words, to think that Lord Shiva and other demigods are other forms of God and are therefore equal to Vishnu, is also blasphemous. This is the second offense at the lotus feet of the holy name of the Lord. The third offense at the lotus feet of the holy name, which is called Gurur Avadna, is to consider the spiritual master to be material and therefore to envy his exalted position. The fourth offense, Shruti Shastra Nindanam, is to blaspheme Vedic literature, such as the four Vedas and Puranas. The fifth offense, Arthavada, is to consider the glories of the holy name to be exaggerations. Similarly, the sixth offense, Harinamni Kalpanam, is to consider the holy name of the Lord to be imaginary. The seventh offense is described as follows. Namno balad yasya hi papa buddhir na vidyate tasya yamairhi shuddhihi. To think that since the Hare Krishna Mahamantra can counteract all sinful reactions, one may therefore go on with his sinful activities and at the same time chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra the mantra to neutralize them is the greatest offense at the lotus feet of Harinam. The eighth offense is stated thus, Dharma Vrata Tyag Hutadi Sarva Shubha Kriya Samyam Api Pramadah. It is offensive to consider the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra to be a religious, ritualistic ceremony. Performing religious ceremonies, following vows, and practicing renunciation and sacrifice are all materialistic, auspicious activities. The chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra must not be compared to such materialistic religiosity. This is an offense at the lotus feet of the holy name of the Lord. The ninth offense is described as follows. Ashraddha Ashraddhathane Vimukhe Pyarshabanti Yaschopadeshah Shiva Namaparadha. It is an offense to preach the glories of the holy name among persons who have no intelligence or no faith in the subject matter. Such people should be given the chance to hear the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra, but in the beginning, they should not be instructed about the glories or spiritual significance of the holy name. By constant hearing of the holy name, their hearts will be purified, and then they will be able to understand the transcendental position of the holy name. The 10th offense is as follows: Shrute Pinama Mahatmye Yah Preeti Rahito Narah Aham Namadi Paramo Namni Sokhi Aparadha Krit. If one has heard the glories of the transcendental holy name of the Lord, but nevertheless continues in a materialistic concept of life, thinking, I am this body and everything belonging to this body is mine, and does not show respect and love for the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, that is an offense.
So these are the 10 offenses, right? And now you've got the Sanskrit. So these offenses are from where? It's given, enumerated where?
Padma Puran.
Shri Padma Puran. All right. So this is Padma Puran. Actually, I don't think it is about Lord Vishnu. I think it's more about Lord Shiva, this Padma Puran. I'm not sure. But here it is speaking about the chanting of the holy name. So it is said in Shastra, Krishna Shakti Vina Nahe Tara Pravartate. One cannot distribute the holy name of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra unless he is empowered by the Supreme Person Godhead. Anyway, I can't go through all these 10 offenses because this is a whole chapter by itself. There's so much in this. We need to study this, and I will leave that to wherever you are. You know, this is a topic, those 10 offenses. And I won't be able to do it here. So I just hope that wherever you are, and there is this book, Bhajan Rahasya, there's also Shikshastakam. So these speak about this, the holy name, and there's offenses. So this has to be learned. It's a topic by itself. So here we are just reading through it. I won't be able to analyze each and every one. And it's preparation also. So wherever you are, so I'm giving you 2 books, Bhajan Rahasya and Shikshastakam. So within these 2 books, they're both by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And Bhaktiya Lokya, I'm not sure Bhaktiya Lokya also about the holy name. Okay, so should we stop here? Let's do the last one. Let's do the last one. Last one or 1 minute. Okay, let's do a couple more. Then it will complete this. Otherwise, we'll forget when we start next week. Tadashmasharam hridayam batedam yad grihyamaner harinamadheye vikriyethata yada vikaro netre jalam gatra ruhushe harshaha. Anupama Madhvi, can you read this?
Hare Krishna, translation and by His Divine Grace, the Prabhupada, all glories to Shiva. One's heart does not change, tears do not flow from his eyes, his body does not shiver, and his bodily hairs do not stand on end. As he chants the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, it should be understood that his heart is as hard as iron. This is due to his offenses at the lotus feet of the Lord's holy name. Purport.
Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, commenting on this verse, which is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 2.3.24, remarks that sometimes a Mahabhagavat or a very advanced devotee does not manifest such transcendental symptoms as tears in the eyes, whereas sometimes a Kanishta Adhikari, a neophyte devotee, displays them artificially. This does not mean, however, that the neophyte is more advanced than the Mahabhagavat devotee. The test of the real change of heart that takes place when one chants the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is that one becomes detached from material enjoyment. This is the real change. Bhaktir Pareshanu Bhava Viraktir Anyatra Cha. Bhagavatam 11.2.42. If one is actually advancing in spiritual life, he must become very much detached from material enjoyment. If it is sometimes found that a Kanishta Adhikari, neophyte devotee, shows artificial tears in his eyes while chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, but is still completely attached to material things, his heart has not really changed. The change must be manifested in terms of one's real activity. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, so you see now we are going to topics that's more and more, intricate and more difficult, and I need personal class. I'm not able to do it online. Again, this text here, this is from it's Nectar of Devotion, and there's so much. So so what it is, so basically, to make to just be emotional, you come in front of the deities and you have tears, right? You have tears, and then you come in front of the deities and you say, give me this, give me this, give me that, right? You have a whole list of, of what you want the deity to do for you, right? But someone who's actually advanced, he may not have exhibit tears in his eyes, but he's not interested in material enjoyment. This is the real test. Okay, text 26. Eka Krishna Name Kare Sarva Papanash Premera Karana Bhakti Karena Prakash. Indira Radha?
Simply chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra without offenses vanquishes all sinful activities. Thus, pure devotional service, which is the cause of love of Godhead, becomes manifest. Purport. One cannot be situated in the devotional service of the Lord unless one is freed from sinful life. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 7:28. Yesham tu antagatam papam jananam punyakarmanam te dvandva moha nirmukta bhajante mam dida vrataha. Persons who have acted piously in previous life and in this life, and whose sinful actions are completely eradicated or freed from the duality of illusion, and they engage themselves in my service with determination. A person who is already cleansed of all tinges of sinful life engages without deviation or duality of purpose in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. In this age, although people are greatly sinful, simply chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra can relieve them from the reactions of their sin. Eka Krishna Nama. Only by chanting Krishna's name is this possible. This is confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam 12:3-51. Kirtanad eva Krishnaya mukta sangaha. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has also taught us this. While passing on the road, he used to chant, Krishna, 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 Hey. Krishna, 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 Hey. Krishna, 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 Rakshamam. Krishna, 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 Pahimam. Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava Raksham. Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava Pahimam. If one always chants the holy name of Krishna, gradually one is freed from all the actions of sinful life, provided he chants offenselessly and does not commit more sinful activities on the strength of chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. In this way, one is purified and his devotional service causes the arousal of his dormant love of God. If one simply chants the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and does not commit sinful activities and offenses, one's life is purified, and thus one comes to the fifth stage of perfection or engagement in the loving service of the Lord. Prema Pum Artho Mahan.
Yes. Again, so again, I would request everybody, see, all temples do invite teachers, and they're teaching so many things. Like I say, Swayam Bhagavan Maharaj Keshav, he's doing such nice seminars. I don't know where he's preaching. He's from UK. So wherever you get the chance, anybody who's giving all these seminars, you must attend, because there's too much practical things to be learned. This Chaitanya Charitamrita is giving a lot of information, but they are elaborated there, and you have to do service. If you don't do service, you won't be able to understand all this. So this is very important. And if you have the good fortune of having direct contact with a spiritual master and doing service, and you suppress your false ego and you accept the correction, then you will learn huge. So all this is practical things. So philosophy and practical. Otherwise, you are bored with Krishna consciousness. It remains a theory. And then after some time, you die. You give up. Yeah, I used to be with the Hare Krishna movement. This is what you will say. Yeah, I used to do this,
Mataji, what is the fifth stage of perfection? And what are the four stages?
Prema Pumarto Mahan, right?
Yeah, so what are the previous four stages and what is
You should be able to tell me this, you're teaching.
Mataji, that Bhajan Kriya, that one,
Bhajan Kriya.
Artha. What are the four?
Oh, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, and this is Bhakti.
Prema Pumarto Mahan.
Okay.
Right?
Okay, Mataji. Yes, because I don't know what does it mean by fifth stage. Okay.
Yeah. We go beyond Dharma, Artha, Moksha, and we come to Prema. Like the aim of life for most people, okay, if they're dharmic, those in Varnashram Dharma, it is to be dharmic. So you're dharmic, so you earn also in a dharmic way, right? Like Gujaratis, right? They earn in a dharmic way. And then they enjoy, because so they give charity. They give a lot of charity, right? So then they enjoy life. And then when everything is falling apart, so they say, okay, it's time for moksha, right? But the real thing is that we should not just sit and wait for things to fall apart. Actively, we should develop our love for Krishna. If by good fortune we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Kirtanad eva Krishnasya mukta sangha param vrajet. Okay, so again, I feel very it's not, see, I'm only doing whatever little bit I can, and see now how I got stuck. Remember when we were discussing about Prakashananda Saraswati, it was all about philosophy, so we could dissect, we could understand. Now when we come into bhakti, I'm saying you need personal teachers, right? Philosophy is one thing that you can analyze, you can say this is not correct, this is correct. But when it comes to bhakti, you need to be in satsanga. You need your teacher personally. So please, everybody, you take advantage of whoever is visiting your temple. Out of your way to learn. Fun is happening, just go out of your way to learn. Hare Krishna. Jagalbadaringyascha kripa sindhuvyainvacha pacitanam pavanabhyam vaishnavevyam.
Hare Krishna.